what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. I want to talk about Texas A&M, Jake, because I think this is actually the most interesting thing to talk about today, and that is the fact that
Texas Aggies.
Fighting Texas Aggies. We keep mentioning that, unfortunately for Jaden Daniels, because this game's at 11 a.m., you're probably, you're not many people are going to watch it. You got Michigan, Ohio State going down, the game. Where this gets doubly disappointing for me personally, Jake, is that this Texas A&M defense is awesome. Like, the Texas A&M defense is legitimately very, very good. We'll look at some numbers to back it up here in a second. But what sucks is if Jaden Daniels goes out here and puts up 400 and 4 to 5 touchdowns like he's basically been averaging this year against this defense, that should be just as impressive as Bo Nix doing something great against Oregon State, arguably even more so. However, because of A&M's overall win-loss record, because of the time of game, and because of all the different elements that we've talked about, I feel like Jaden Daniels could dominate what is statistically the best defense in the SEC, and people are just going to be like, I just beat Texas A&M, who cares?
Yeah. There are probably going to be some that will say that if they even see this game live. And another thing going against Jaden here and going for Bo Nix is the fact that Oregon State is a primetime game and also on Friday. So it is a standalone college football primetime on Fox Friday game when everybody's going to be, Black Friday shopping, then coming home. And
is it at least going against the NFL game? Do we know that? Is the NFL Friday game at the same time? That could maybe take away a little bit. So I know that
this one is 8:30 Eastern time, the Oregon State. Okay. Let's see if I have to see if it matches up with an NFL game, but still, you're going to have.
If you're a college football fan, it's the only show in town.
It's the 49ers. No, it's Thursday. Ooh, yeah.
Friday's at 2 p.m.
Friday's 2 p.m.
Dolphins Jets
on Prime Video too. So
you tell me then that the NFL game is going to be leading into the Civil War.
Yes. Yeah, 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern, Prime Video, Dolphins Jets.
Sometimes Friday night though is not the best time for watching TV. You know what I'm saying? Like Friday, I feel like Friday night numbers don't always do. Saturday is really not. Whatever. And we're probably going too granular anyway. My overall point is, do not fall into the trap that is so easy to fall into when you think about Texas A&M and just think, oh, this is a bad football team. Because defensively, they are awesome. Let's look at these numbers. These are SEC ranks, right? They're basically everything I'm about to read, maybe except for points per game, in which they're still very good. But everything else I'm about to read, they're top 10 in the country as well. But total yards in the SEC given up per game, Texas A&M is first. They only allow 286 per game. They're first in rush defense, giving up just 102 per game. And they're first in yards per carry, allowing just 3.09. Remember, Jaden Daniels is first in the entire country when it comes to yards per carry, as I think he's averaging. I can't remember what his season average is. I looked it up against Power 5 opponents only, and he's averaging 8.5 yards a carry. So, best total defense in the SEC, best rush defense, second best pass defense, allowing just 184 through the air. Texas A&M is 7 yards per attempt to Jaden Daniels, an incredible 11.9. Only 13 touchdowns given up through the air to go with 7 picks all year long. Scoring defense, they're third in the conference, giving up 19 points a game. They're first in sacks. They got 40 of them things, boys. 3.5 per outing. They're first in TFLs. They have 94 TFLs. 8.5 per game. They're second in the conference in third down percentage allowed. Opponents only convert on third down 28% of the time. Now, that's a good matchup because LSU is tied with Georgia for first. They both convert 56% of the time. In terms of when you get into the red zone, there's been a couple moments this year where LSU's failed to put it in the end zone. Well, A&M is first in red zone. Touchdown percentage, when you get it down there, you only score touchdowns 46% of the time. They're the only team in the conference that is sub 50%. So all of this, again, is to say, when it comes to the A&M defense against this LSU offense, you are talking about elite on elite. And so if Jaden Daniels goes out there and balls, and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas put up numbers like we know they can and most likely will, and this offensive line, which we love and celebrate, and they're so good that we don't talk about it because that's how dominant they've become. If they keep Jaden upright, if they're managed to put up points, rush yards, like, do not fall into the trap of just thinking this is a 4-loss or however many loss A&M team. It's a damn good defense that they would be having success against. And as we'll get to, you're probably going to have to. Like, from a matchup standpoint, A&M, I think, is going to be able to score on you. It's a little more muddled to the quarterback situation, but just know that this is quite the challenge at 11 a.m. this Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, so offensively, they're actually 5th in scoring in the SEC. They're actually ahead of Missouri as far as points per game. So you look at the record, you see they're 7-4. You're kind of wondering, how did you lose 4 games, or how have you not maybe beaten somebody, one of the big opponents on your schedule? And that's the reason Jimbo Fisher is no longer the head coach, right? They want answers as well. And what T-Bob said defensively, I mean, it is true. They have played a high level of defense all season long. And the offense, you have to give them some credit because they've played with 3 different quarterbacks. I mean, they've gone through injuries and still been able to put up points.
So here's where it gets tough on the other side of the ball, Jake. Offensively, I don't know exactly how to read it, right? If Max Johnson was playing, I'd know more what to expect. Because remember, we basically nailed Florida by doing a very simple exercise. Let's look at the equivalent defenses. How did Florida do against them? We said they averaged 38. Florida scores 35. Can you do that when now they have Jalen Henderson playing quarterback, and we've only really seen 1.5 games, or maybe 2 full games now, out of Jalen Henderson? I mean, if we just look at scores like we did against Florida, look, they put up 33 against Miami, 34 against Arkansas, 30 against South Carolina, 35 against Ole Miss, 51 last week against Mississippi State. You're kind of like, okay, they're going to put up 30. So this LSU offense better be ready to go. This LSU offense better be ready to put up more than 30 against the best defense in the SEC, or at least a top 2 defense in the SEC. I would say, though, it's maybe not as clear because, again, Max Johnson has broken ribs. They're now down to their 3rd quarterback. And I wonder how they're going to look to attack LSU, right? I mean, I feel like if I was A&M, Jake, I would see the secondary, and then I would see that I have like Evan Stewart and Anais Smith, who I believe they're both back. One of them was hurt. Moose Muhammad, right? Like, I'd be like, all right, let's just let's attack. Like, we got nothing to lose. Let's just go balls to the wall. I don't know if they're going to do that with Henderson. If you look at the recent game log here, 40 carries against South Carolina, 36 against Ole Miss, 45 against Mississippi State to the tune of 250 yards. And then
43 against Abilene Christian.
And then 43 against ACU. So this looks like A&M will come out, seek to run it over 40 times, control the game on the ground. Big game for the front 7. It seems like Weeks is going to be back, according to Kelly, for that D-line. And look, if I'm A&M, that does make sense, right? Because I said you could bomb it out because the secondary is weak. But if you run it well, then you keep Jaden Daniels off the field. So it's probably also like your best path to playing defense against Jaden Daniels, or what helps your great defense would be by potentially controlling the game on the ground. And how they beat you last year, Devon A.J. ran all over you.
Yeah, he did, and he did it by himself. It's going to be more of a by committee running back room for Texas A&M this year. But at the end of the day, like, you're going against a 3rd-team quarterback. Like, you have got to step up defensively, and you have to make stops. I mean, you're going against the 3rd guy. And this is an offense that's not very innovative. I mean, you still watch the tape, and Bobby Petrino, the numbers are better, but it's not very innovative, T. I mean, it is basic, hey, we're going to line up, here's who we're going to be, and you have to have a game plan together. Like, this quarterback, yeah, he's new, but he's not that different from Max Johnson. I mean, he's a little bit faster, but as far as the throws he can make, he's about on the same levels, on par with Max Johnson. He's even a lefty like Max Johnson. So defensively, man, this has to be the game. You find a way, you step up, you do something. You help out your offense, and your offense doesn't have to go out there and be perfect. Now, they've been perfect for a lot of the year. I mean, they're on a stretch right now where they're going to score a touchdown every time they touch it unless they're taking a knee. And they just get 4 stops. Get 4 stops. Even against this really good Texas A&M defense, I think 4 stops is enough.
Well, we're going to see. But, yeah, just know, if this LSU team keeps this train rolling, and if they continue this touchdown streak, just know that you ain't doing this against nobody. Also, let's kind of be honest about this. Yeah, it's fun to make fun of Texas A&M. They fired their coach. They have 4 losses. You got 3. You know? And who has A&M lost to, Jake? I mean, obviously Miami's one that has aged pretty horrible.
Miami, Ole Miss.
But okay, so you both lost to Ole Miss.
Alabama and Tennessee.
You both lost to Alabama. And you didn't play Tennessee, but you got your ass kicked by them last year. So my point is, like, I know it feels like you are much better, and you are in many ways, but let's not get too cocky about this gap now. You're a 3-loss team. They're a 4-loss team. They're seeking to make you a 4-loss team. From a matchup standpoint, their strength matches up with your strength, and their weakness, their offense, is better than your weakness. And so we arrive at kind of a lesser Alabama game where it was like, okay, this is going to test the weak link theory. Even though I still think that maybe unlike Alabama, even though who knows if he doesn't get hurt, maybe he could have, I do think Jaden in this offense is good enough where they'll be able to carry you over the top. But just, let's all come correct this Saturday. I don't want anybody getting too fat and cocky and comfortable after slamming a bunch of turkey and gravy and potatoes. Okay, you got to fight on your hands at 11 a.m. Saturday morning in Death Valley. So if you're going to go to the game, bring it. Be loud, be crazy, make it tough on Texas A&M. Make that home field advantage matter. You got a young quarterback stepping into the maw of the beast. Senior day, honoring guys like Jaden Daniels for the greatness that they've given you this season. It's a big game, boys. It's a big day coming up Saturday.
It is, and I agree with T as far as
whole season on the line,
knowing your opponent and respecting your opponent, but also they haven't beaten a ranked football team this year. Also, you owe them something. What they did to you a year ago in College Station, right? You got bullied. A-Chain ran all over you. That offensive line had success against you. And so, like, have a mentality in this game where you owe them something, and you want to go out there, you want to prove against this top defense. And so I'll be intrigued to see how this one plays out, because their absolute strength is your absolute strength. And offensively, I think Texas A&M, the numbers are better than actual play on the field. And down to the third quarterback, again, I'm just going to keep going back to it this week. Defense, like you got to do something.
Dude.
You got to do something to help out the cause.
No more, do less. No, you got to do something.
Something.
You have to do something. You got to pop up on the board, boys. Okay, just pop up. Well, okay, we're going long. We can continue to get in matchups. I want to get to Brian Kelly's press conference as well. Your comments, as always, youtube.com/1045ESPN. God, I will say this, boys. I've got goosebumps. Look at that. These are the games. Season on the line. Little butterflies in your belly. Fear in the gullet at 11 a.m. as that first tequila, that first delicious Noel Blanco on the rocks hits your lips. Smoke wafting through the air at Don Juan Bar. It's sunny outside, and you know you're about to get irresponsibly inebriated while riding a wave of emotion for the next 4 hours. It's a good time to be alive, boys. It's a good time to be alive for sure. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.